karma is of different sorts. Some people think that if you do something to another person, the same thing will happen to you. And therefore you should do good things to other people, and therefore the same good things will happen to you. But sometimes it is a little more complex. For karma is the reactions of mind developed over lifetimes of experience. As a being evolves and develops, the consciousness of that individual entity associates with different physical forms. And as those physical forms evolve and change, that consciousness grows in magnitude. But the individuality of that consciousness is defined, its uniqueness created by all of the complexity of experiences, from the most simple to the gradually more complex. And as those experiences and reactions of mind to experience grow in magnitude, the uniqueness of a being is formed. And it is formed out of the collectivity of the karma, the collective reactions of mind that are formed and that become a filter through which the consciousness of that unique individual perceives reality. Those reactions of mind, those reactions to experience held in the subconscious mind of an individual are called samskaras. So when those reactions, those karmic reactions occur, they stay in the mind as samskaras. And those samskaras develop the unique personality, the unique framework of individuality. This is true in the animal kingdom, in the plant kingdom, and in the human kingdom. In all realms, living beings are growing, developing, experiencing, and sustaining a mental record of those experiences, a reaction in the mind to those experiences. And as one body fades and the consciousness of that being dissolves from physical form and is suspended between the worlds, then those reactions sustain in the mind. And when that consciousness is drawn again to form, it is drawn where those reactions are most compatible. That karma is most compatible with the physical form, and thus life upon life, the consciousness is drawn back into manifestation and association with physical form due to the karma of that individual. And that karma is the samskaras, the reactions of mind held within. It creates the filter and the identity of a person. They believe they are that, all of those experiences. So consciousness becomes associated with the reactions to experience. And from that grows individuality. And as mind grows and develops, that sense of individuality becomes stronger and stronger. So in the simple plants, it is very weak. This is the sense of individuality, the sense of personal identity is weak. But then as mind grows in magnitude, in the animal kingdom and in the more developed animals, that sense of individuality becomes quite strongly developed. This sense of individuality is called in Sanskrit Mahatattva. And as the being comes to the human realm, this Mahatattva, this sense of one's I feeling, becomes very developed, and the individual feels I exist. And that I feeling is surrounded by all of these associations of mind, these reactions of mind to past experience. So through the filter of this karma, that I feeling, that Mahatattva, comes into association with the Aham Tattva, the expressed action and identity. And that comes into association with Chitta, the expression of mind. And so form develops that is appropriate for that expression. And in that form, the individual plays out their particular unique expression in the world. And they learn from the reactions they get to their experience. And they grow and develop. Until such a time comes that the living being realizes that they are caught in a loop of ever grasping for their individual safety and security and needs, and ever fearing the loss of health, loss of safety, loss of home, loss of loved ones, ever fearing to be in pain of any type, and of course fearing death. So when an individual begins to realize that they are caught in this continual struggle for happiness and continual fear of that happiness being interrupted, a person can become self-contemplative, and in that self-contemplation and meditation realize that there is something more to them than the daily expressions of their wants and needs and fears, that there is something more to them than their simple individuality and their unique perspective. Through calming the mind and sinking to the deeper realms of existence, a human being may move beyond these karmic identities and filters and perceive reality more directly. When this happens, and there is a suspension of thought, mind becomes completely still. The karmic reactions in the subconscious mind rise to the surface. This also happens when a person becomes unconscious, has a near-death experience, and when they die. The suppressed karma rises to the surface. When it is underneath, it is affecting the individual, but they are unaware of its full dimension. But when it rises to the surface of the mind, then the person experiences the karma directly. It begins to manifest in their life. Certain individual things may happen. A person may find that a series of very happy events happen in their life that are completely unexplained, or a series of very difficult events occur in their life that they cannot explain. Why are all these things happening to me? But it is often because these reactions of mind, these samskaras carried in the subconscious mind, have risen to the surface to get expressed. And when they rise to the surface and are expressed, they are called karma. So when this karma plays out around you, you may find that no matter what you do, it doesn't change, it doesn't stop. You feel like you are on a train and you can't get off. Naturally, if it's good, you can be quite happy about that situation. But if they are difficult experiences, it can be quite devastating. And you think, why are all these things happening to me? Why doesn't it go better? Why can't I take charge of it? But yet, it seems impossible. And in fact, it is quite impossible when these are karmic reactions. So the karma is like a force. It needs to find its expression. And once it is expressed, then it can be seen. Then it can be explored. Then it can be changed. But until you awaken to awareness of it, it controls you. It may dominate you. It is a filter through which your life is experienced until such a time as you become aware of that filter. For example, let us say there is someone who wants to be a musician. They keep trying to be a musician, but the problem is they have a bad ear. They're a little tone deaf. So when they sing, they're always off key. And everyone squints a little and tries to politely say that is very nice, but they can tell that no one really likes their singing, but they have a passion for singing. What to do? The person may go on believing that they want to be a singer for a long time, following that passion, and always discouraged by the failure in their life. And they think, why am I such a failure? Until such a time as perhaps they get a recording of themselves and they begin to hear that they're terribly flat and sour when they sing. And then they realize, oh, there is a problem. And then they come to terms with what they are doing. What to do? Should I continue anyway? Should I stop? Then the person has choice. And much of the choice is how they view their own experience. The person has a choice to view their experience as a failure, or to simply accept the quality of their voice, to love themselves for how they are, to decide perhaps not to impose it on other people, or perhaps decide to sing with love and joy and enjoy it and not care, not try to be a great singer. So the person develops a choice when they become conscious of the karma, the sanskara that is governing them. But it often does not become visible until it is played out in their karma, in the world around them, in their experience of life. And so karma becomes a teacher, a way to express the filters and assumptions you have unconsciously maintained, and to give you conscious choice on how to relate to them. This comes naturally, but when you do spiritual practice and you bring the mind to stillness, it helps to bring these to the surface. And as they come to the surface more and more, you become able to make choices in your life. You become able to see yourself more objectively and to try to establish intentional and conscious relationships to your strengths, your limitations, your karmic patterns. So that they may begin to dissipate and the fundamental reality, the unity of life, becomes more real, more substantial for you. And the struggles and pains and sorrows, the fears that develop around your unique individuality, become softened by your knowledge that arises from deep within and begins to claim some of your consciousness that has been so involved in those karmic patterns. Slowly, slowly it begins to claim your consciousness into realms of truth, love, loving kindness, justice. And bind you to the unitary whole of being. So the patterns of the mind become replaced by the wisdom and truth of the eternal self, the knowledge that comes from within. And slowly, slowly, as this process goes on, these karmic patterns unwind more and more. So never be afraid, never be concerned when they begin to rise to the surface. It is your opportunity to have choices in your life. It is your opportunity to choose love, to choose life, to choose to see the greater whole. And if you were not ever to struggle in your life, would these opportunities be there? So struggle in life has a place, an important place. In the patterns, you weave and you unweave. All right. Are there any questions?